Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to a report by Lianhe Zhaobao, the United States government has proposed imposing additional tariffs of at least 10% on goods from most of its major trading partners. This proposal follows an investigation into import products suspected of involving forced labor and represents an attempt to rebuild a comprehensive tariff system that was previously ruled unconstitutional by the U.S. Supreme Court. Under the proposal released by the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative, a 10% tariff rate would apply to imports from partners such as Canada, Mexico, the European Union, Taiwan, and the United Kingdom. Meanwhile, major economies including China, Japan, South Korea, India, Brazil, and Switzerland would face a higher tariff rate of 12.5%. U.S. Trade Representative Warren Greer stated that the U.S. will no longer tolerate unfair competition that puts American workers at a disadvantage. The proposed tariffs, initiated under Section 301 of the Trade Act of 1974, will not take effect immediately. They are subject to public review, with written comments due by July 6 and public hearings scheduled to begin on July 7, 2026. On the 96th day of the U.S.-Israel war on Iran, military conflict has escalated across the Persian Gulf, according to reports by Al Jazeera. The United States military launched self-defense strikes on Iran's Qeshm Island, while Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps claimed to have targeted U.S. and Israeli military assets in response, including a vessel and the Fifth Fleet headquarters in Bahrain. This escalation has begun to impact neighboring countries, with Kuwait and Bahrain reporting intercepted drones and activated warning sirens. On the diplomatic front, peace negotiations remain highly complex and uncertain. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio informed Congress that Iran's supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, is alive and increasingly engaged in ongoing talks. However, Rubio emphasized that Washington will only offer sanctions relief to Iran in exchange for major nuclear concessions, firmly rejecting any deal linked solely to reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Meanwhile, inside Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu faces domestic political pressure over his strategy against Hezbollah in Lebanon, as Israeli strikes there killed 5 civilians and sparked a series of retaliatory attacks. According to a report by Tencent, Matthew Whale, the newly elected Prime Minister of the Solomon Islands, announced that his government will review the controversial and secret 2022 Security Pact signed with China. The agreement, orchestrated by former Prime Minister Manasseh Sogavar, had previously sparked intense concerns from the United States, Australia, and New Zealand over the potential establishment of a Chinese military base in the South Pacific. Whale, who obtained a copy of the agreement only recently after replacing key personnel, made these remarks during his first official overseas visit to Canberra. Meeting with Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, Whale announced a reset in bilateral relations. The two nations are commencing negotiations for a comprehensive strategic treaty covering security and economic cooperation. Albanese emphasized Australia's desire to remain the primary security partner for the Solomon Islands and the broader Pacific family. Whale acknowledged past tensions but affirmed the shift toward regional self-reliance for security, signaling a pivot back toward traditional partners. According to a report by iFeng, Chinese artificial intelligence startup DeepSeek is nearing the completion of its first funding round, which is expected to raise approximately 50 billion yuan, around 7.4 billion USD. This landmark round will propel the company's valuation to between 350 billion and 400 billion yuan, approximately 52 billion to 500 billion yuan, approximately 52 billion to 59 billion USD. DeepSeek's founder, Liang Wenfeng, has personally committed 20 billion yuan to the round. Tencent Holdings is reportedly considering a strategic investment of 10 billion yuan, while battery giant CATL plans to contribute 5 billion yuan, making them the largest external backers. Additionally, the startup is in advanced talks with several state-backed funds and major tech firms, including the China National AI Industry Investment Fund, NetEase, and JD.com. IDG Capital and Monolith Capital are also among the prospective investors. The total number of investors will be strictly capped at 10, with the deal expected to close in the coming weeks. At present, DeepSeek has no immediate IPO plans, and the involved companies have not officially commented on the funding report. Al Jazeera reports that Japan's stock market has hit an all-time high, with the benchmark Nikkei 225 index surging nearly 3% to top 68,000 for the first time. The rally continues a banner year for Japanese equities, which have gained nearly 33% in 2026. According to market analysts, investor enthusiasm surrounding the global artificial intelligence boom is driving Asian stock markets upward, while strong demand for high-end chips has bolstered semiconductor leaders in Taiwan and South Korea. Japanese firms are also rallying, further supported by a weak yen. On Wednesday, semiconductor-related businesses led the gains in Tokyo. Industry leader Tokyo Electron soared up to 14%, Advantis gained over 5.5%, and Shin-Etsu Chemical rose around 4%. Despite concerns over high valuations, major global tech firms are continuing to commit massive capital to AI infrastructure. U.S. tech giants are projected to spend approximately $800 billion on AI-related capital investments in 2026, underscored by Alphabet's recent announcement to sell $80 billion in shares to fund its expansion plans. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.